Awesome. And it's December. That's like joy. Joy. That's for sure. All right. Well, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about your vision, your why. We're going to dig in and really do a little bit of mental prep for what's going to come up here over the next really several days for you guys, the next really 2.5 weeks, today through the 20th. And I'm so excited that you've made a commitment to do this. I'm just blessed by it and overwhelmed by it and excited to see what happens over really these next few days. And so I want to dig in and talk to you probably about what I feel like is the most important part of becoming successful in Isagenix. And it's your vision and your why and that mental tenacity that's going to need to happen over these next several days and moving forward. Because, and I'm not an overly fluffy person. And I know if you've spent any time working with me, you kind of know that. Like, I'm pretty bottom line. So, like, I kind of like to tell it like it is. And I don't like a whole lot of stuff in between. So I've been accused a few times with this topic of it being fluffy, but to me, it's not fluffy. To me, it's where the rubber meets the road, and it's what separates the women from the girls and the men from the boys. And so this business as a whole is not hard. It's not. It just really isn't. When you think about the concept of the business, what is it? We use the products, we get results, we tell people about our results, we find more people and tell them about our results, and we encourage other people to do the same thing. I mean, that's really all there is to it. It's really no more than that. But what happens is what happens between our ears. So we set this goal and we think, I'm going to do it and it's going to be amazing and I'm going to make it happen. And this is so biblical. Like, you'll hear this in church, and I think so many times in the U.S., we've gotten into a place of complacency in our country in general, where people really set out to, I'm going to graduate from high school, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to work from 9 to 5, I'm going to go home, and I'm going to sit in my leather recliner, and I'm going to watch TV for 4 hours, I'm going to go to bed, I'm going to get up the same time the next day, and I'm going to go to work, and I'm going to do the same thing over and over and over, and I'm going to do that from the time I'm 22 until I'm 65, and then I'm going to retire and fish. And that is like, that's what we've been so used to doing. And in a life like that, if that's truly your desire and your goal, and there's nothing wrong, if you have a passion burning within you and that brings you to life, there's nothing wrong with that. But if every day you're thinking, I cannot wait until it's Friday, oh gosh, can Friday just get here? And then on Sunday, if you're starting to get a sick feeling in the pit of your stomach, thinking that, it's going to be Monday very soon, that's not what, you're called to do. You should enjoy what you're doing. It should bring life to you. You should have the hope for freedom. You should never be in a place where you feel like I've tapped out, and everything I'm ever going to be, that's what I am right now. You should never feel like that. And I think that the minute that you step out into something like this, and you have that vision, you have that dream, I'm a little bit preacher-like. I'm not even going to apologize. It's who I am. But the word tells us that the enemy comes to steal and to kill and destroy. And so what happens is we get this wild, audacious dream and vision and passion for what we want. And the next thing we know, even no matter how easy this business is, we start getting all these darts into our mental state, into our mental status, into our belief system, where why could it be me? You set out, and the next thing you know, one person says this negative thing to you, and that negative thing was probably way more about their insecurities than it is at all about you, like your vision. probably makes them feel uncomfortable. And because your light is shining a light on their laziness or their lack of a vision. And so they start reacting to that and they speak something to you. And the next thing you know, you are in this place of, oh my gosh, am I ever going to make it? What's wrong with me? I don't know. And I'm saying this to you because it's not like it might happen. It's like it will happen. You're not always going to feel warm and fuzzy. Let me try to mute this out. Hold on. It won't always feel warm and fuzzy. Some days it's going to feel like, why am I even doing this? And we've got to learn how to fight that. We've got to learn how to get sharp and move forward. And what we want is every setback to take less and less time to get back and move on. And so what does that really, really look like? The first thing that you've got to do is you've really got to know, what do you want and why do you want it? And what do you want out of your Isagenix business? What do you want out of your life? And why do you want it? And I think sometimes we forget to go there because we get stuck in, I have a bill and I have this and I have that, and we get stuck in all of these things that are going on in our life. And so instead of looking at this huge answer within us, this dream, this destiny, we get stuck in these little things and we can't move forward and we get stuck. And so you've got to really think about, what is it, what do you want, and why do you want it? Don't think about how are you going to do it. How are you going to do it is a setback. You don't have to think about that at this moment. Every great thing on this earth originated in somebody's mind. They spoke it out of their mouth and they went and created it. That's how things come into place on this earth. People who are successful and amazing things happen to them, they get an idea in their mind, they speak it out of their mouth, and they take action on it. That's how this works. That's how great things are created. That's also why the enemy will attack your mind. That's why. Because the minute he has you in a place where you feel like you're not good enough, you're not strong enough, other people can, but you can't, you guys have to know what I'm talking about because I've dealt with it. I know, like I still deal with it. And the minute you start feeling like that, it's from the pit. So when you're visioning and you're trying to get into that place of, what do I want? What is my call? What's my destiny? What makes me sing? What am I excited about? Why do I want this to happen? How's it going to feel when it happens? You've got to allow yourself to go there with no ombudsman report. And the ombudsman report is like this. When I worked on staff at a church for a long time, and we grew the church from 25, well, for a year. We grew it from 25 to 300 to 1,000. We grew it in a year at that rate. And we had this guy that was hired on staff, and he was awful. Like, we would get this vision of what we wanted to go do, and he would bring this ombudsman report. So every Monday morning, I would go open up my computer, and the computer would say ombudsman report on it. And the report would say, this is everything that was wrong with yesterday. Everything that was wrong. The trash can was dirty. There was popcorn on the floor. The parking was this. Like, this whole list of everything that was wrong. Whenever we would have an idea, we'd have to take it through him, and he would tell us everything that would go wrong. And so he could not ever be in the creation phase of anything, because when you have something in your mind and you're trying to create it, you can't pick it apart before the vision's even out there, because then it gets nowhere. And so you're not thinking about the how am I going to do it. That's not what you're thinking about. You're thinking about, what do I want and what's it going to feel like when I'm there? Because a decisive mind and a huge imagination and a big vision will fill in the gaps on their own. There's something about that decision that it's like God just begins to bring the right people at the right time into the right place into your life to go make things happen because you're decided. And it's like a faith walk. It's like, I'm going to do it. And faith moves God's hands in your life. And so you've got to really think about it. What is it that you want? Why do you want it? The power that's within you is greater than anything that would ever hold you back from the ultimate place in this business. And so why is it? Why is there resistance? Why resistance in this business? Why? Why? I mean, why is there resistance in this business? Because I want you to think about this. What if? What if everything that you wanted to ever happen in this business happened? What if every creative idea that ever came into your mind, you actually did it? Instead of thinking, that's a dumb idea, she'll never do it, that's a dumb idea, that won't work. What if you actually did those creative things that came into your mind? What if you actually moved on them? What if you actually made this happen? This is what would happen. You would become so free. You would become free in your finances. You become free in your health. You'd be able to go help other people get free. And you're generous. You're giving. You'd be living out loud. And you'd become a change agent. That's why the resistance is there. Because the enemy's so scared of your future. And if you get bogged down and bottled down and you start feeling like you're not worthy enough or you're not good enough or other people can and you can't, you are of no help to anyone because you're so self-absorbed in your own issues that you can't help anybody. So the minute you feel like that, you've got to recognize this is from the pit, because that's what it is. It's from the pit. So the minute you step out, you've got to begin to, I'm not talking about, when I set a goal, I don't wake up and go, oh, what's going to hit me today? Something's going to hit me today. Oh, goodness. I'm not talking about that. But the minute I set a goal and it's going to be big, when something crazy comes against me, it does not take me by surprise, because God's word's true, and it says that the enemy is going to come and he's going to try to steal and kill and destroy, but I have more power within me. And so I set a goal. I set a goal to make $368,000 this year so that I could pay off all my debt. Within 2 weeks of setting that goal, I had one of the lowest weeks I've had an entire year, and volume-wise. And then my dog got sick, and it had a transfusion, and now I have a $3,500 vet bill that I have to pay off. And my daughter decided to move her wedding from Mexico to the United States. And so now I'm going to have another $3,000 bill on top of the bill that I was already going to have for her wedding. So now my finances are set back. My dog was sick and my volume's down, and I am not taken by surprise. It doesn't move me. I don't want to suck my thumb. I don't go, oh, it doesn't work. I mean, oh, this too. My sister calls me on the phone and she's like, true story. She's like, oh, well, Amy, this girl at work, she's doing Thrive and it's cheaper. And I'm thinking I'm going to try it. I'm like, whatever. I'm like, you know what that's for? You know what that's for, Melody? That's for chubby girls that are too lazy and they want to put a caffeine patch on their arms. If you want to go do it, go do it. I didn't feel mad at her. What I know is I know that the enemy is trying to hit me in a weak spot to set me back and go, oh, what I do doesn't work. Oh, now I'm farther in debt. My volume's down. I might as well quit and suck my thumb and just be where I am, because that's what it's supposed to be. But that's so from the pit. And so you've got to recognize that for what it is. And you've got to get disciplined. You've got to get disciplined in your mind and disciplined in your thinking so that your why is right in front of you and you can keep on keeping on. So negative thoughts are from the pit. This is how you recognize it. Because there's a difference between a negative thought and like, oh, I need to really change what I'm doing because I'm not making progress. I don't know if that makes sense. So some negative thoughts really are, I need to change what I'm doing because I'm not making any progress. But a negative thought from the pit, this is how it will make you feel. It will make you feel heavy. It will make you feel exhausted. It will make you feel hopeless. It will make you feel worthless. It will make you start looking around and trying to compare. And so when you start feeling any of those things, you have to recognize it for what it is. You have to think, wait a minute, that's a negative thought Amy was talking about. That's from the pit, and I recognize it. Because if I get stuck in that, it's going to become a downward spiral, and I'm going to get to the point that I'm so wrapped up in what other people are thinking about me and what's going to go on and the stupid bill that I got, and now I had just took a setback, and what's going to happen is you're going to get stuck in a muck, and you're not going to be able to move forward. And so you've got to recognize it first of all. Once you've recognized, wait a minute, I'm in a funk, but I have this dream, and when the dream works, I'm going to set myself free, and I'm going to set other people free, and I have the power within me to do that. You've got to begin to recognize that. So when the thought comes into your mind, so the thought comes in, you take the thoughts, that negative thought, and you grab a hold of it. It's discipline. So the negative thought comes in, you want to grab a hold of it. Your flesh and in the natural, for whatever reason, you're going to be gravitated toward letting that negative thought make you feel like a crumb. But you're not going to do that. You're going to grab it and you want to speak against it. So when my finances were going down the tube, I literally started saying, oh no, like it looks like I'm not going to pay off the $368,000 because now I owe $6,000 more. My volume's down. Like all that's going on. I'm like, oh, no. I'm speaking against it. I will be debt free, including my house and my cars by November 1st, because when I'm debt free, I'm going to be free because the borrower is slave to the lender, and I'm not going to be a slave to anybody because who's in me is greater than these things that are coming against me. And so I'm speaking that out loud. Whenever we took Pancake to the vet, she was so sick, and the vet's like, she's going to die, and we'd already spent this money on her. I didn't want her to die. So I'm like, I speak against those red blood cells because Pancake, you're going to be the flower dog. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but like when those things are coming into your mind, you got to speak against it, and you got to take control of it. I'm saying this to you because it's how you win in this business. The business is easy. You lose weight or you get fit and you post about it. The hard thing is not that. The hard thing is when somebody says something stupid about it and you let it go in your head and you start thinking something's wrong with you, or when something doesn't go your way and you start spiraling downward. That's the hard thing, but you have power over it. So you grab the negative thought, you're going to place it with a positive word. That's what you're going to do over and over and over again. Now, the other thing you want to do, so that's kind of like a defensive mechanism. The bad thought comes in, you grab it, you speak against it. The other thing that you want to do is you want to get highly focused on your vision, highly focused on it. And so you should know when you wake up in the morning, you should know where you're going. You should know why you're going there. I'm talking about the big picture. You should feel what it's going to feel like. I mean, I think about writing off the check for my stupid mortgage on my stupid house. Like I think about it all the time. I think about what it's going to feel like when I write it off. It's going to be relieving, and I'm going to feel so good. It's going to be awesome. I'm not going to have a tie to it anymore. And so I'm thinking about that over and over and over again and building myself up. I'm driving around and I'm looking at other things that I want. I'm looking at where I want to travel. I'm writing it on the whiteboard in my office. On my notebook paper, I'm writing, I am debt free. I'm maxing out my business center. I'm traveling all over the world. I'm going to have a second house. I'm like writing all that out so that I can move on that. So that's an offense, not a defense. I'm keeping myself built up. The other thing that you've got to do is you got to get positive information going into you all the time. What are you reading? What are you reading? Are you reading positive things? Are you listening to positive things? I mean, I was telling Zach today, I was like, listen, I'm all about learning, but sometimes you can watch so many Isagenix podcasts that you get yourself so confused that you can't even recruit or sell your way out of a paper bag because this person said to do it this way and this person said to do it this way and this person said to jump up and down and pat your head and rub your belly, and you can't do it all. And it creates all this confusion, and then you're like stuck. But what I'm talking about, when I'm talking about building yourself up, is you gotta pick one path you're gonna follow. You're gonna follow it till you're successful. You're not gonna stop. And you're going to put yourself in a place that you're getting faith words put into your mind continuously. So this is who I listen to. I listen to Stephen Furtick. I listen to Faith Church St. Louis. I download their app. I listen to all their messages. They're preachers, yeah, but they are huge builders. I mean, they have congregations and multiple campuses. They know what it's like to have a vision in their mind and to create it and go to work for it. They know what it's like when someone says you can't do it and you might as well stop, you might as well go backwards. And so having myself built up continuously, when something comes against me, it's like I am rubber and you are glue, and whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you because I'm ready for it. Does that make sense? And so you've got to get yourself built up. So you're like, man, I'm 10 foot tall and bulletproof. None of this crap affects me. Let it happen. Like, I mean, I laugh now. When something bad happens or somebody says something to me to make me feel like I'm going to stop, I laugh. And I know some of you guys have experienced it. Like, you'll say something to me and I will literally say to you, I'm not moved by that. I am not moved by that. It might look this way. I'm not moved by that because I have a promise. I have ambition. I will continue to work. I have my faith. I'm not going to stop because the business is easy and I have control over my mind and I have dominion over this earth and I'm going to win. And so that's where you've got to get. So what is that vision like? Now, so what I want to do, you guys, is tonight, as we get going, tomorrow, we're really going to dig in on the tribe call. We're going to start talking about building your list. Then we're going to talk about what to do with your list. And then we're going to talk about Thursday and how to get people on the opportunity Zoom. And we're going to talk about overcoming and all of that. But this is what I want to know tonight. First of all, your assignment for tonight is I want you to think about what do you want. I want you to think about what do you want in your life. I want you to think about what you're sick of. What are you sick and tired of being sick and tired about? And how are you going to fix it? I want you to focus on that solution. I want you to write it down. What do you want? Where are you going to go? Like, write it down. And I want that vision to become so clear. Where are you going in Isagenix? Are you ready to overcome? Are you ready to be done with other people's opinions holding you back and making you feel like you can't? Because their opinions, I mean, there's one opinion that matters, and that's Jesus Christ. That's it. What other people think, it doesn't matter. Who cares? Whatever. They're going to think things. Who cares? So what I want to know is, what is your vision? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go in your business? Where do you want to go in your life? And I want you to write that on our Facebook wall. I want you to put on the hustle, this is my vision and this is my why, because I want to know what it is. I want to know what it is, because when that vision is so clear, then when those things come against you, it's not like they might. I don't want you to be surprised. Probably by the end of the week, somebody's going to tell you it's not going to work, or somebody's going to reject you. It's the nature of what we do. It's the nature of an entrepreneur. But we're entrepreneurs. We're creators. We're done. We're moving forward in life. And so I want you to write down, what is it? What is your vision and what is your why on that wall? That's your assignment tonight. And then tomorrow, we start in with the skills like crazy people. Are you guys ready? All right. I'm excited. You guys have an amazing night. I'll convert this Zoom and get it up for you guys in the morning. But thank you guys so much for getting on. I know it's late. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks, Amy.
Good stuff.
Guys.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Katie, I'll get back on.
Whoa.